Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks. This is Antonio Moore coming to you from Tone Talks. Looking forward to having a great discussion today about the term I'm using called reverse casted. I believe that Black folks are largely reverse casted and now have decided to elevate all those people that are in the negative. So the more negative points you got, the higher you get on the spectrum of inverted success for Black folks. Can we talk about it? I got something on screen. Y'all see that on screen? Y'all done created a hero out of this man. In 3 weeks, you went from calling him the villain to the hero because he went on a show with a guy that said that he was in special ed classes and didn't do no journalism on the Drink Champs. Because you are reverse casted. You don't have no up and down. All chaos. It's all chaos for you. Your mind is still stuck at Banneker, Dorsey High here in LA. Let me call them out. Give me the name of your high school in the chat. Your mind is still in 11th grade at lunch with the tickets. You still thinking about Tupac, who the greatest rapper, Tupac or Biggie? I seen a guy do a whole rundown on how Jay-Z wasn't the greatest. And year by year, man, come on. 45 years old. Inverted. So on one hand, white folks don't get no requests from mama or grandmama about money. And then on the other hand, they leave in sync in the 90s. So we carry Tupac forward, come on, and grandma on our back. What y'all talking about? Y'all out here reverse casted, doing verses between people that had their albums back in 1998. It's 2022. We talk about it. Let's get right into the discussion. So Black America is now reverse casted from Kanye West Drink Champs interview to Jay-Z. I don't even know how to pronounce this, but Duce, I believe is the name. If I got it wrong, I apologize. We had Kanye West less than a few weeks ago wear a White Lives Matter shirt and show that he has serious issues mentally, to me, in my view. I'm not a professional, but in my view, he showed some serious issues. Less than 2 weeks later, because he went on the Drink Champs and said some stuff that don't make no sense to me, but I understand if it makes sense to you. He a genius now. We're going to get into it today. We're going to show how you can't measure genius, so I need you to stop using the word. How about it? White America has collapsed this ADOS group economically while leaving them not just bottom casted, and we'll talk about what bottom casted meant. Shout out to Yvette Carnell, who uses that term quite regularly. They are now reverse cast. See, our parents were bottom casted, meaning they were cast to the bottom of society and then given little windows through factory jobs and GI bills and all kind of programs and union jobs to get into the middle. But what they left behind for us, by failing to do proper policy, by being honest about what hip hop and rap meant to Black America, by being honest about the consequence of mass incarceration, is a reverse casting. And y'all in the middle of it and don't even know. Giving your grandmama, who lived in one of the best moments in Black American history, $100 while you got student loans. Can we talk? Here we go. I'll shout it out. I text with Cube. Shout out to him. We'll get to him later on. Shout out to him. You know, everybody always trying to cast somebody else in the light. Let me say it again. White America has collapsed this ADOS group economically while leaving them not just bottom casted, they are now reverse cast. Lauding high school dropouts, Jay-Z, Meek Mills, others that we know, can we talk, that present themselves as former drug lords. They were not. He was not. I remember I had a meeting with some odd moments with none of the Freeway Rick and Akon, and we just talked about the reality behind this man and his past. So he don't have the drug background that y'all love, and then he don't have the business background. Everything failed. Title, the alcohol failed, and then the Def Jam South or whatever. All of them failed. But he a businessman. What else? He got something else that failed too. Everything failed. Y'all got them shoes, them Reeboks he did instead of Pro Kids. Y'all still got them? The S Carters, golfing shoes. Jay-Z accused of selling out to the NFL. Rapper says we need to get past them. Y'all remember that in 2019? Now you got Meek Mills doing little performances, and you got Dr. Dre and Mary J. Blige at the Super Bowl. Everybody looking for their handout. Lauding high school dropouts that present themselves as former drug lords, they were not, and represent as present billionaires, they also are not. These are not billionaires. In so many ways, what Black America has decided to do is gorge itself on empowerment porn. So basically, you are addicted to empowerment no matter what form it comes in, even if it's Black folks riding dragons. But you come from ADOS. You come from American descendants of slavery and the consequence that it has riddled in your family. But you love them Black folks with white dreads riding dragons. Until you find out they dragons ain't real. Jay-Z accused of selling out to the NFL. We're going to get into some more present stuff, but we got the whole reality of being reverse casted. Can y'all see it? They done took y'all up and down and gave y'all anti-heroes that ain't heroes even in their own house. Kanye and Kim Kardashian, can we talk? They done flipped your America upside down and told you still become elite American with no tools while you give your grandmama, let me say it again, $100 still playing Tupac in your car like it's 1996. Thank you so much, High Priestess. Support the channel, Tone Talks. Go to tonetalks.org. 310-388-3499 is going to be the call-in. Please press the bell, press the notification. Let's get this discussion going. We're going to dig a little deeper because a lot of you guys don't even understand. Look back at your dating history, young women. How many rappers was in the studio while you was in college? You reverse casted. Talk about it. Your up and down has been contorted and confused to the point where you don't have no up and down. You only got down. And your down goes below the floor. That's why you're reverse casted. It's negative value. How Jay-Z and Diddy used their fame to make millions in the spirit industry. That's what they was telling us in 2021. But now we find out Jay-Z, we've got a cognac crisis. Sues Bacardi and Douce deal. Decadent Veil, reverse casted. In the docs, Jay-Z company says it needs all the books and records, the location of all the warehouses. So you don't know where the warehouse is? You don't know where the warehouses is at. You in a partnership and don't know where the liquor at. You in a liquor business and don't know where the liquor at. You don't know the address. Hey, y'all, I want to do business with you. You're a billionaire. I want to do it respectfully. I'm going to do business with you, but like, I'm not going to tell you where the address to our business is. Is that okay? Can I get $100 million from you? That's how they told him. He asking for basics. He asking for where the bottles at, where the bottles at and the stickers and all that. He's not even getting to the accountant. And y'all believed in this because you needed something to get you through. Because while you were dealing with the cost of being a millennial or a Gen Xer that was reverse casted, you was giving your grandmama $200 and still playing Tupac and Biggie, trying to figure out who's the best rapper. It got to the point where we ain't trying to figure out who the best rapper alive is. We trying to figure out who the best dead rapper is. How we get there? In the docs, Jay-Z and company says it needs all the books and records, the location of all the warehouses, storing the barrels. Where the barrels at? You ain't told us where the barrels at. Can I talk about it? Oh my God. Y'all believe that this man was a hero. I'm here today to cut down heroes. Y'all told me that I was being negative when I told you he ain't no hero. He's a former drug dealer that dropped out of high school, that has been perched up to keep it from me being able to do basic politics for you. We here now. You see it? Shout out to everybody supporting because I'm about to go in. It's unclear. Oh, hold on. We let me finish with the barrels. Barrels. He want to know where the barrels, the bottles, and the accessories are. You know what you seeing? Too many of y'all confuse hip hop labels with real legitimate American businesses. When I say legitimate, they didn't move the product. Universal did that for them. So now when they get into real business, you find out they don't know shit about distribution. They don't know the inventory. They don't know nothing about first in, first out. They don't know nothing about any of the details of running a business. But they know how to tell y'all that they're billionaires. Y'all so reverse casted that you don't even look at their credentials, their business history. You just look at the words that they type on a page because you have a need for empowerment porn. You addicted to it. How many of y'all marriages is falling apart because y'all built it on being high off the same blunt? That same empowerment blunt that's falling apart now because you didn't have no love inside. You had all aspirational wants, needs, and desires. Shout out Zoe Williams. I see you watching. We told you guys that you needed more in your relationships. What you told us back is that we gonna make it all through crypto or business dealings or being the next Jay-Z, even though Jay-Z ain't Jay-Z. You all are reverse casting. What happens when the bank account hits zero? Oh, for a lot of y'all, it's at negative now. So your bank account is reversed. Your relationship is reversed. Your morals is reversed, but you telling me about being successful. It's unclear what's prompting Jay to demand the info. It's unclear. We ain't clear. Maybe it's a need for some money. Maybe it's the checks ain't coming through. But it is clear there's a level of distrust between the partners. One sentence from the doc seems pretty telling. SC Liquor says it needs to monitor the conduct of Bacardi business to protect SC's right as a partner in the company. You ain't no partner. You somebody waiting for their check, an employee. Talk about it. A partner know where the look, before we get to accounting on the money, a partner know where the actual alcohol is. Look here, we gonna do an alcohol business, but we ain't gonna tell you where the alcohol at. We ain't gonna tell you where the bottles is at. We ain't gonna tell you where the machines and everything to put the alcohol in the bottles is at. But can we shake on it? As long as you tell them black folks that you a billionaire, we good. I'm here to talk about it because a lot of you guys believe you need heroes. How Jay-Z and Diddy use their fame to make millions in the spirit industry for others. They should for others. That's the part missing right here. But there is a shadow here of how we got to this realm of failure. Now we know about being Adolfs and coming from slavery, and we know about Jim Crow, but then it bleeds into mass incarceration. I wrote about it almost a decade ago and tried to tell you guys, and now here we are, and you don't even understand your up from down. You can have a grandmama whose son gets out and tells everybody that I don't want him living in my house because I don't trust him no more. His daughter, who don't know him, feels an obligation to have him live in her house, and he don't know her. Huh? How we get there? Because we reverse cast it. It is her moral obligation. Even if she's married, she's going to tell her husband, look here, husband, you ain't going to make me choose between you and my daddy. Grandmama can give two shits. She done moved on her own son. I need you to see how we were reverse casted and how many of you are so confused that your stars, your celebrities are no longer celebrities based on music. They're based on failure. So the more failure that they feed you, the more you think that they're a celebrity. Talk about it. Y'all got people out here, a number. It's not just one. Talking about reparations that don't know nothing about what I'm talking about with wealth. I'm going to get into it in a second. This whole project is built on Yvette kind of bringing that immigration, that politics, and me giving you numbers. This whole reparations thing. Without me telling you what the black and white wealth gap is, There is no reparation. You can go ask them. Go ask them what the median black family is worth, what the median black family is worth without the family car. Where's their works that show all that? They didn't do any of that. They just hollering the word. The word means nothing without the context. The context comes from decades of work. Can we talk? Y'all got people out here collecting checks, not telling you that they collecting checks on the names of reparations, and that's their reparations. I can explain it to you. You send who you want to in the room, though. Let's read a little bit about this piece. First, let's look at the year. Oh, that says 2015. I was not paid to write this. I was not paid to create this context. I did this because Black America had no context for the scale of Black male incarceration. What's interesting, if you go back, there was a speech President Obama did using the context from this article. He didn't quote it, but nobody I ever seen that put it in context of countries. All of a sudden, Obama did, though. The Black male incarceration problem is real and it's catastrophic. Now, I'm saying this to contextualize the concept of being reverse casted. It is so pervasive that how much failure they put inside of Black families and Black community that now many of y'all can't count. You count negative. You count negative. You go to the store, pay the store for 6 loaves of bread, walk out and bring another loaf of bread into the store and give them 7 back. Thank you. You are reverse casted. There may be more Black men in college than in prison. That was the hustle that they was telling us. But the truth still stands that there are a socially catastrophic number of Black men behind bars. Those numbers should not even be close. See, like in a normal society, less than 1% of people are incarcerated. For Black men, a few years ago, it was like 10%. We ain't never seen nothing like that. That's like social collapse. So Black men would just collapse. We're now in the consequence of that because you guys had that in your fathers and your brothers and your rap music and your singing. And so all you guys did was just celebrate it and don't even know it, subconsciously and consciously. And so now all they do is play on that. To give a lens for viewing this data, India is a country of 1.2 billion people. The country in total only has around 380,000 prisoners. In fact, there are more African American men incarcerated in the US than the total populations in India, Argentina, Canada, Lebanon, Japan, Germany, Finland, Israel, and England combined. We're talking about 2 billion people in all those countries. 2 billion people. What are there? 25 million Black men, and counting the non-ADOS? Counting the babies too, the children? Same number of prisoners as 2 billion people. You don't think that that's social collapse? You don't think that being reverse casted comes out of that? So now what happens is you get Nore coming on talking about, I was a special ed student. How was I supposed to know better? Well, you ain't supposed to be the person interviewing. See, you guys don't understand something. Let me explain what you don't understand. If there was a cancer out there, you're going to go to a cancer research specialist to figure out how that cancer can be cured or even relieved or dealt with. You're not going to go to a high school dropout. Y'all going to a high school dropout for everything from reparations to politics. Y'all going to a high school dropout to talk about business. Y'all going to a high school dropout because that person gives you empowerment porn instead of real terms about what we got going on. Can we talk? Let me say it again. Next time you find out one of your family members have a cancer and it's incurable, ask yourself if you're going to let somebody who is in special ed classes or barely didn't finish high school figure out what the cure for that is. And then the next time you realize that you would never do that, ask yourself about reparations. Thank you. We had Kanye West wearing a White Lives Matter shirt, and everybody understood that this man stood opposed to Black politics, saying some nonsense about elevating white folk because of the answer to Black Lives Matter and the scam or whatever else he was talking about. Y'all all understood that, but then when he went on the show, y'all created power. But let's zoom in something else. Let's zoom in. Donda Academy, Kanye West opening prep school in Simi Valley, California. Many of y'all don't remember, Simi Valley is where Rodney King got beat on. That's where they had the trial. They moved the trial to Simi Valley to get the right verdict, to get the white folks on the jury, if you remember. Let's talk about it. So Kanye opens a school. But the school in Simi Valley, and Simi Valley ain't got no black people. So the man that opened a school where it ain't no black people and wore a White Lives Matter shirt is now a genius, while being in an interview where he attacks George Floyd incorrectly. I don't care what else it said. Y'all don't reverse cast it. What I say, you don't have no up and down. You got Diddy. White lives do matter. Kanye West doubles down on White Lives Matter slogan as Diddy comes to his defense, comes on the Breakfast Club. I don't support it, right? Okay. But then he puts him on Revolt TV to say more. So you do support it. You can't say I don't support it and then let him be on Revolt TV. I need to talk about it. Thank you so much, Coleman. I need to talk about it today. Kanye West says George Floyd passed away because of fentanyl and that the cop's knee wasn't even on his neck like that. What specialty in law and police enforcement in anything does Kanye West have to be able to evaluate what happened to George Floyd? What genius does this show? Y'all got an empowerment problem because you failed in life. Now, I'm not saying that you can't try to do better as you go forward, but too many of y'all is looking backwards and seeing all the road bumps and crevices and cliffs that you left behind, and living out a false narrative of what is success, reverse casting everything to create an up from your down. 310-388-3499. I want to hear from you. So while no one else wanted to give this man a platform because he had done anti-Semitic remarks, because he had said crazy things, Revolt TV does, and you celebrate him, the man himself, who just weeks before, who had already met with Trump, let's not forget that, made a fool of black people, who in the middle of this created mass chaos during a moment in which America, let's talk about it, because was talking about the second, I believe, largest city in America, and how there's anti-black racism. All of it got masked and covered up because of Kanye. So black people became a group that had some racism too, just like the Latino. When we're talking about mass racism in a city versus an individual black celebrity, and you celebrated him. He got the White Lives Matter shirt on, y'all. You don't even know what to celebrate. What you mean, Tone? Y'all throwing bigger celebrations for people fresh out of jail than your son's graduation or 18th birthday party. Y'all are celebrating failing down and criticizing moving up. And don't even know it. Kanye West says George Floyd passed away because of fentanyl and that the cop's knee wasn't even on his neck like that. Wait a minute. Did the man just... Shout out to this person here. I'm going to come to calls in a second right now. They got it. They shared the show because I put it up early on Twitter that it was coming. And they said, part of Black America lets a handful of idle, rich public figures exploit or lead them into shoddy and drug-filled lives. Leave the plantation mentality folks behind. We will stand strong and show the way as we have always done. That's the decadent veil. Talk about it. Let's take the first caller tonight. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling out for how's Brother today, man?
Well, I'm a little frustrated because what I'm trying to do, and I want to ask you if you understand or see what I'm saying when I say the generation before us, and let me explain it in data. The generation before us, when you look at the chart, and you've probably seen it before because you called in, this chart shows the amount of wealth that all white households held. Back in like the 80s, they only had $2 trillion. Before that, they were in the billions. They had 24 in the 80 and 89. When Obama comes into office, they have around, and you can see it right here, nearly 75. They dipped down, and Obama could have let them collapse, but he buoyed them, and they took off. From Obama to Trump to Biden, they're now at like $130 trillion. What I'm saying to you is that your parents, our parents, We're bottom casted, this red line. What happened to us was go get college education on debt. You will not be celebrated. But what we are going to celebrate is high school dropouts that may be slow because they were in the slower classes. And we're going to elevate them and let them stand on your back and make stuff up. And we're not going to at all criticize them and make sure that they get ostracized from destroying our black politics or our black business. We're going to elevate them because that makes us feel better about ourselves. And that's where we at now, reverse casting. Give me your take on everything.
Well, just to the point you spoke to, I mean, it's interesting when you talk about the bucket as well, right? The rise of hyper capitalism or hyper consumerism of luxury items came, or hyper display of consumerism of luxury items correlated with those charts. Like when rappers really started coming out talking about the real high end products that they would purchase and show off those real high end products, the $30,000 shirts or the $3,000 shirts as opposed to the $300 shirts kind of correlates with that chart. What I wanted to also say about the Kanye thing is that, and you mentioned it before I got on, but the fact that his comments are being elevated above the comments of the councilwoman in LA is insane to me. Because Kanye's comments really don't have any consequence for anyone other than Kanye, maybe the people that work for him. Whereas the point that councilwoman's comments has consequence for.
Can I say something to you?
All right.
Can I say something to you?
Yeah.
It's not being elevated more than that by white folks. It's not being elevated more than that by Latinos. It's not being elevated more than that by college educated folks in large. It's being elevated more than that by you, by us, by black folks on Twitter, because they are reverse casted. They don't know no better. So what they do is that they basically create like this world of an echo chamber. And the echo chamber sounds loud, but it's really just y'all talking to each other. And so like now what's happening is that you don't have and that's why a lot of people come to this show and Breaking Browns as well, because you don't have an outlet because all your friends are talking about Kanye and he's irrelevant. He's irrelevant. Now, the thing that's interesting is that I believe there is an apparatus to infuse black celebrity into a normalcy in black community that isn't real at all. We don't talk about the stuff that he's talking about, not at all. But the Latino thing is like pervasive across the city inside of families and homes. The problem I run into now is that you guys at large are so reverse casted that some of you, I'm not saying all, display some of the same issues that Kanye displays in moments. Like you don't even know that you're stuck on empowerment porn. You don't even know that if it ain't make you feel good, like we all billionaires, you ain't tuning in. Part of what you liked about the Kanye West interview is that it made you feel all empowering until you realize what no power in it. I'm gonna let you get one last word because I want to get some more calls.
Yeah, I mean I appreciate it, man, but I'm just speaking of real quick, man, is that a comment thing, man. I can't understand for life me how someone, for instance, me, that has to work 2 jobs to support their child.
Come on.
Can ever be taken in by empowerment porn.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna answer. Look, I'm gonna say something offline. Thank you so much for calling because you always drop it in. But like, this is the thing that's interesting about that is that's the con of it all. Let me give you an example. In India, the British had occupied India. They had soldiers there. They were occupying them long time. Eventually, they took the soldiers away because they realized the people were already programmed and going to do exactly what they was doing when the soldiers left. And they did. I'm summarizing, but I'm using it as an example. What they've done here is they have moved you from your parents' bottom casting to a reverse casting so then they can feed you anything. The tools for that were everything from the music you listen to the parents' lessons that you got. Baby, it's your job to make sure I have retirement What about my student loans? What about my house? What about me? Black celebrities show less and less skill and talent, but use celebrity to create and hold back bad black politics. Come on. And you ate it up. You got a man here who weeks ago had on a White Lives Matter shirt, and now he a hero to the same little group of echo chamber that I talk about because he went on this show and said some crazy nonsense. He's still crazy and he's still nonsense. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
I'm from Asheboro, North Carolina.
Yes. All right. So I got you on the show, and I want to move forward a little more. For those confused about the Jay-Z deal, I'm jumping around to do say. If he's looking for where the liquor at and where the bottles is located, for those confused, this signals it isn't a true partnership. And also, there are clear questions by Jay-Z that he needs to double check accounting. Lastly, for me, it signals for him to secure the deal they required him to be kept in the dark, or he did not review the documents. I think it's the former. I called it. The deal that black celebrity that these low-educated men are signing is a deal that basically is, I'll pretend like I'm a billionaire so you can be a real billionaire. White man, white capital. Go ahead, caller. What you think about that?
Well, what you're looking at is Jay is like a ventriloquist dummy. And black folks have been, conditioned to believe that the dummy is actually speaking for himself. Like he's actually a real person. He's not a partner with these guys. What you are is a pitch man. You're going to be the face that we're going to use to go out here and sell a bunch of product. See, so I live on a 40-acre farm. When you're farming, you have to produce a product. Then you have to be able to take that product to market. You got to know how to inventory that product.
Before it's spoiled, and all that, right? Before it gets all that. Right?
Mm-hmm. This guy don't understand even how liquor is made, probably.
Nope.
He don't own nothing in the process of it being made. He don't own.
Can I ask you something as a farmer? Can I ask you something? What kind of deal is it if a farmer don't know where his farm is at? Because he said that he don't know where the bottles is at and the factory or none of that, the address. He wants the address of the factory. What does that tell you?
That's ventriloquist dummy. He out there pitching something he don't even know what he's doing. It's like the guy that they get to go on the commercial to tell you that the egg is organic, but he never been to the farm. He just on TV telling you the egg is organic.
Somebody in the chat said, somebody in the chat said the real truth about Jay-Z is that he's a character, not a real person. My thing to you is this don't sound too much different than Kanye with the Gap and the deal with Gap and the other company, Adidas, and he put the contract out. Everybody signing the same deal, which is I will act like I own it to keep the black folks calm and present myself as a billionaire so that you guys can not have to deal with that black politics.
That's the Brooklyn Nets deal. I'm going to have 0.1% and tell everybody I own it. It's a ventriloquist dummy.
Come on.
He's a pitch man. See, what happened is you got Adolf. You say it's reverse casted. I get that, but I look at it like the previous generation locked this generation and all the subsequent generations in the basement. And in order for you to feel like you're not locked in the basement, they painted clouds on the ceiling. So you think you're looking up at the sky, but you really locked in the basement.
See, and that's why once you wait, I like that analogy, but let me say this. Once you put clouds on the ceiling, how you don't know it's the floor? That's why I say it's reverse casting. See, they did some trickery here. I understand where you're going, but once you don't make that a real sky, but you just can't reach it, all that is reversed now. And inside of that, they gave us mass incarceration. They gave us 10th grade dropout rap star millionaires. They gave us basketball players and football. Who want to play football? Raise your hand in the chat if you want to be 33 years old and tackle a grown man to the ground. I broke my ankle about in January. I never would want to do the same thing again. You got to break your body and then go do it again. Who want to do that? That's not a good job. I'll tell you that right now. They told y'all that all that was the top. Go ahead.
And you got to be nice about it when you do it. You still got to be pleasing to the cameras after you sitting up there with them injections in your back and your knee and your shoulder and everything else.
Come on.
So I understand your frustration because I live in this reality out here every day of actually having to get out here and actually produce something. If you look at any of these decadent male guys, Diddy, Kanye, you name it, any of these rapper guys, they're not producers. They don't produce any product.
No, they really don't. They really don't. They never even make. They didn't even produce product when they was making CDs. Somebody, that black folks didn't own the CD printing. That was the white people that owned the CD printing. That was a big thing. I think Master P was trying to deal with. Like they was just like frontmen. And so this goes back to Nixonian business as an answer to black politics. This goes back to Reagan. This goes back to a cover for the fact that black folks don't have no wealth. And what's happened now is they have even shut off all of the avenues that even our parents had. There are no factory jobs. They've let in immigrants of different types that deeply affects low-wage workers in particular, which is what these people are. And then they took a few of them and made them not even appear like they're low-wage. That's all that Jay-Z is, a low-wage worker. I don't care what y'all think. But that man right there, that's a low-wage worker personified. And so like people will say, well, he's not low-wage now because they paid him to make you believe that those kind of people don't have to be low-wage workers. If you call that a job, then that's your problem right there. You think that's a job. Caller, any last thing you want to say to the audience?
Yeah, well, they try to say he's not a low-wage worker. Now, he is in comparison to the people that he say that he's partnering with.
That too.
You know what I'm saying?
That too.
And you just go at a higher level.
Well, the suits gonna Duce or whatever it is, they gonna let him know because they ain't tell him, hey, I know you at farming. Think about it. Let me read it one more time to everybody who just got here. In the docs, Jay-Z says he need all the books and the records and the location of the warehouses. I'm gonna let you go on that note because he don't know where the warehouses is at. I don't know what kind of businessman don't know where his warehouse at. I'm gonna let you go. Thank you. Woo-wee! So we reverse casted out here, painting clouds on the ceiling, which is really somebody's floor because we in the basement. Under the house, negative. Thinking we living good. While we're living in an era, come on, where the average new car payment just hit $700 a month. The average new car payment. Well, what's that mean, Tone? What does that mean? That means $900 to $1,000 with insurance. What is the average credit score that gets you to that 700? 700 in the credit score. A lot of y'all got a whole household of 605s. Y'all living below average and don't even know because you reverse casted that everybody in your structure is unsound. They below average. They went to college and have a 605, a 610 because it was set up that way. But because of empowerment porn and being reverse casted, you're basically stuck in a mindset where you're going to make it out. You okay. Food prices are still soaring. Here's what's getting more expensive. Food costs spiked 11.4% over the past year, the largest annual increase since May 79. I ain't asking anybody about their credit score, but we know everybody got 615s and 630s and rebuilding their credit. Average is 698. Average. Can we talk about it? While at the same time, the Fed is talking about raising interest rates even more because inflation ain't coming down. The reason inflation ain't coming down is because white folks got bread. See, there's a reality going on here. I don't want to jump. I want to talk about it. And I got a few more callers I want to get to. 310-388-3499 if you want to join in. I'm going to come to you in a second. How many of y'all seen this chart before? This chart is all wealth. So the other one I showed, I'm going to be clear, was about race and wealth by household. So before in 1980, all of white families had $2 trillion. In one lifetime, they went to $130 trillion. You are locked out. Don't even know it. Built your whole family with no shoes, no socks, and no building materials. Y'all standing outside thinking that you inside. Because everybody outside. Playing house. They went from 2 trillion to 25 trillion to now they're way past this. They're like at 130 trillion. We're still down here, and all that wealth is with the boomers. The little bit that we have above is all with the boomers, and it's gonna die with them. But what has happened inside of that is the mechanisms to be American is your parents give you money. You don't give them money. And I'm not talking about a little bit. I don't know if somebody didn't tell black folks. Your boomer parents, if they asked you or pushed you to be successful, can't just be words. It's got to be bread. It's in the numbers. So that's part of what's driving the inflation. So the prices are staying high. How are the prices staying high? Because white old people giving young white people money to go buy stuff. How much money did your mama give you last year? 10,000? That's nothing really. I'm just telling you by American standard. 15,000, 100,000. How much? It can't be zero. And then you still be talking all these dreams and you painting clouds on the ceiling, like the man said. But you see it here in this chart. Now, this chart is a little old, but it shows you, and we were using it to explain. When I said a little old, it stops at 2010. But I want you to see the course of your life. So what you look at is this is the share of wealth out of 100% that the top 9, that the bottom 90, the 9.9 and the top 0.1 all had as a share of overall wealth. So when you look before the depression, like during the depression, this black line is the bottom 90. And I'm saying this so you can understand your reverse casting. You're living so backwards that you think backwards is forwards. So the bottom 90 is this black line. They had less wealth. Come on, let's talk about it. Y'all don't know how reparations happen? This is how it happened, in the mud. I want you to go ask these people that keep hollering the word and all this. Do they got this chart or they get it from my show? Or do they even know this chart exists? They just hollering. So reparations don't make sense without this chart. It don't make sense without the show. And the shows that breaking around it don't make no sense. So it's easy now to holler the word because you go watch the show and then you understand a little bit about the word. Let's talk about this chart here. So this is the entire nation. Now, I'm going to tell you a fact before we look at this chart so you understand who you are. Not only are you coming from a slave, but you also are in the bottom part of America. So like the bottom half of America has nearly no wealth. Nearly 90% of Black America, if not 95, is in that bottom half. All the working age Blacks are over on that side. The few Blacks that have some wealth are all old. They about to die or they about retired and they be sitting around acting like they don't want to do politics because they don't have to. House full of grandkids. But I'll need you to understand this chart to understand the lay of the land, so you can stop seeing clouds in a painted blue like ceiling and see a floor. See a reverse casting. This black line here represents the it says right here, bottom 90%. They had less wealth before the Depression than the top 0.1% of all families. What does that mean in numbers, Tone? That means a very few number of families had the same amount of wealth as the bottom 90 that led to the Depression. As a result, we got a bunch of programs that gave your grandmama her house. Gave your daddy that house he keeps saying that he built on his own. Policy gave it to him. Over the course of that time, the bottom 90 started taking home more wealth than the top 0.1. But there's a second group of the 9.9. Come on. We talking about families worth today north of like $2 million with their house, up to probably like $8 or $9 million. But this is the group, this other group that started taking less. Come on, started getting less, taxed way heavier when they died. We're taking 80% of that money. You don't get to pass it down. Well, what happened was this created a world where you could access and move from bottom casting to middle, under middle, but you own something and you had a pension and you had some protections at work. Our lives, come on, 1980, right about here, are here, where they decided to change the policy. They used black celebrity, Kanye, Jay-Z, the poster children of degenerate nonsense, made it so you digested, swallowed, ate, and accepted a flawed life. You accepted on the premise that they gave Jay-Z the optics of being a billionaire. And you see it here, where the top 0.1, they started taking home more share. And it's to the point where now it's crisscross. And they actually take way more wealth than the bottom 90, and you're in the bottom half of the bottom 90. But you still tell your kids they're going to be able to compete with the people in the top 0.1 or the 9.9. Can we talk? And you're not going to give your kids nothing. I just need you to see it. It's right here. So these lines have crossed the other way. So the bottom 90 now, that black line is down here, and the top 0.1 is up here. This other line, so, and understand, this gray line is all white people nearly, and this gold line is nearly all white people, except for a few black celebrities that might have dropped out of high school. But let me tell you, those black celebrities then hustle you and complain on the deal that they signed with Gap, Adidas, or Duce, because they frustrated because they don't want to be in that group under the bad deal that they decided to sign. And then you anchor your failures that don't have nothing to do with theirs into theirs because you reverse cast it. I didn't see Jay-Z at UCLA, nor did I see Kanye. Let me take this caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Tone? It's Pat Al from Flint, Michigan. How you doing, man?
Hey, what up? Let me read something to you, this story. A story of a black woman losing her home to municipal greed and a white woman benefiting from her loss. A story about the racial wealth gap and how the median white American household accrues almost 8 times the wealth of most black American households. I was given a house for free, but it already belonged to someone. But the problem is, and I've showed it in pieces, we're not worth 8 times, we're worth 100 times. See, I did the work beyond the work, not just the work that Washington Post was talking about, where we pulled the micro data. I did it with Matt Brunig of Demos. When you pull the micro data, what they did is they lied to black people. So what do you mean? So let me explain it again. I interviewed Thomas Shapiro. This is where reparations came from. I interviewed Thomas Shapiro of Black Wealth, White Wealth, who wrote the first initial books on the racial wealth gap. It's on YouTube. I don't know what everybody who follow these other letters and stuff are even talking about. So he basically agreed that I told him that the racial wealth gap as a word was the wrong word. But he also understood and agreed that more work, that before the 90s, they didn't even give wealth data. So before 1990, they didn't release the wealth data. As they released it, too little economists, too little sociologists actually did the work to actually expose what it was showing. Even as I came into it around 2012, I noticed that y'all was getting lied to. So pulling the micro data, what it shows is that they was telling y'all that y'all middle family was worth 16, but 9 of it was the family car when you pull the micro data, which is a depreciating asset and should have been included no way. But in addition, it was including another 2,500 or so of your TV and your clothes, which isn't an asset either. Those are depreciating. But when you looked at real assets, the middle black family was worth like 1,500. Middle white family still worth it goes from 140 down to 120 because they inherit so much, just the middle. So you're worth nearly nothing, but you're trying to emulate and copy and be just like them because you're reverse casted. And then your grandmama playing you and Tupac playing you. From the grave, still got you talking about this man. Go ahead, caller. I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah, Don, I was just wanted to commend you because empowerment porn is what we have to battle as ADOS, people that's trying to get the message, because when we sit in circles of brothers, we are excited about things that are just simply not true. But that's the big thing is empowerment porn, and also the timing. In LA, we had the LA City Council, and then right after that, Kanye and Candace Owens had the distraction. Because they're tools to keep us in this reverse situation that you stated. We just got to get smarter, but we also got to put that name on it. You need the hashtag empowerment porn, man. That's exactly what it is.
Can Can I wait? You running off, or I got you still?
No, I'm still here, bro.
You can't run off like that. You just dropped off some knowledge and then ran off. Hold on. Let me read something else to you. Gen Z's average net worth and how they approach money differently. So now they done skipped over y'all and millennials. Y'all just gonna have to just figure it out, die out. I don't know, figure the shit out. You ain't gonna have no money. They going to Gen Z. So you got a kid in your household saving for retirement while they drive your car. All right. Y'all better figure this math out. You got a kid in your house telling you that they don't like no slavery while they drive your car. Let's talk about it. Can we talk? Ain't nobody gonna be in my house driving my car telling me they don't want to watch no slave movies. So we got an article here. According to the Federal Reserve's 2019 survey of consumer finances, Americans, and this is all Americans under the age of 35, have an average net worth of $76,000. What I added was, I'm willing to bet that the average ADOS Black American under 35 has either near zero or negative net worth. Everybody trying to be a family.
No way.
My 2017 piece, and you can go look for it yourself on Google. Without the family car, Black wealth barely exists. With Brunig, the family car is a depreciating asset and included as the bulk of Black assets incorrectly by the Federal Reserve. If excluded with other depreciated assets like TV, clothes, Black homes of all ages have about $1,500. And most of that is really just the older Blacks. They have all the wealth, the little wealth we have. And understand they're much less educated than us. But while they have more wealth than us, quick to ask for $200 for whatever they need it for. At the median, white households are worth $120,000. So they're going to inherit. Understand, white folks will inherit $120,000, $175,000. How many of y'all out there, when you got a financial aid check, your mama asked for some of it? Can we get to it? Can we talk real? How many of y'all in the chat, when you got financial aid checks, your mama asked for some of it? How many of y'all got to pay for daycare from your own family, your own mama? None of that is American. It damn sure ain't elite American. Caller, I'm gonna let you go. I just wanted to keep you for that. Thank you so much for listening. We talking today. So they got this young woman, Natasha Scott. We're gonna get back to Jay-Z and Kanye. Please don't leave, because we're gonna talk. She tried to live out of a van. So everybody trying to do what white folks did. She tried to live out of a van. To say it didn't end up as she expected is an understatement. Here's what happened. Van life is just glorified homelessness, says a 33-year-old woman who tried it and ended up broke. Black millennials lag other groups in building wealth, Fed study finds. The missing Black millennial. By many measures, Black millennials are behind. We lag in terms of employment, wages, and attaining good jobs. That's all alike, especially if we ain't got no inheritance. What about inheritance? Oh, we don't even count that because we're not going to get none. Well, you're not American then. We are in a world where Black America is now reverse casted. That is where we're at now. Can we talk? In addition, nepotism has run wild. That's the charts I showed you, and the amount and scale of wealth. White folks have so much wealth that they didn't expect to have, that they just giving it to their children. And that's why the prices is high. In addition, nepotism has run wild within wealth classification, and it drives our eras, winners and losers. There is no group that unknowingly lives further under that boot than ADOS Black men. Lives set up for failure from the day they left the womb, yet expected to provide as men. How nepotism laws might affect Jared Kushner and Trump's White House. We got the mass incarceration article we shared earlier. They showcase these Black celebrities like the Decadent Veil showpieces, creating a faux belief of diversity and opportunity. And you, the lay Black man, meaning the everyday Black man, are not burdened with the legacy of enslavement and Jim Crow. Your failure is in not being industrious like Jay-Z. You didn't do the liquor deal with Duce, or becoming Meek Mill. Whatever becoming Meek Mill and Hove means. Let's zoom in. Jay-Z may have dropped out of high school, but he believes education is super important. Talk about it. Meek Mill, I dropped out of school in 10th grade. That's right after middle school. Y'all think these people are geniuses. It is this busy work style of digesting that Kanye West. Oh, I gotta frame that. This is actually go first. There's a couple tweets that I shared. I want to frame this reverse casting because y'all sitting up watching judge shows, then graduated from goddamn Georgia Tech. You're not supposed to graduate from Georgia Tech and watch judge shows. Can I tell you? It's not a right level of entertainment to watch reality shows after you finish Stanford. Maybe your mama and your daddy didn't tell you that. Many people are showing the effects of watching gossip reality TV and daytime judge shows for years. Nore broke a cardinal rule and made himself the story. What do I mean? So we was talking about the city council, then we was talking about Kanye. Then nobody wanted to interview Kanye. Maverick from LeBron's channel stuff literally took down the interview for the barbershop because that's what everybody knew to do. But not Revolt and not Nore. They decided to interview him. And then y'all's reaction was to make his apology video more content. You don't become content apologizing for making bad, anti-Semitic, racist content. To the point we're not discussing the context of Kanye. This is a lowbrow model of busy work content digested, zero focus. So y'all are going to work after UCLA, after Stanford, after Georgia Tech, after Morehouse, and your work is horrible. So when you get home, you don't want to talk about politics, but you got 2 kids. And you got a grandmama that ain't got no retirement, need that Social Security. But you want to talk about none. So what you do is you turn on escapism through the reality shows. Then you want to jump over and lead a reparations discussion on a podcast or something. You reverse cast it. It is this busy work style of digesting that Kanye West and the rest of Decadent Veil play on to keep attention. It is the lowest form of getting eyeballs, and far too many of you are getting degrees and digesting content this way. It's a sad sort of internal social collapse. Can we talk? 1,000 of us in here, can we all have an intimate discussion? The Decadent Veil, Black America's Wealth Illusion. Please support the channel. Super chat, tonetalks.org. Patreon is Tone Talks. Go read The Decadent Veil, where I frame that Black celebrity is a cover-up for the fact that Black folks don't have no wealth. Y'all still singing the verses songs? How many of y'all gonna keep knowing what white folks left behind with NSYNC? Each iteration of failure, from slavery to Jim Crow to mass incarceration, and even now pay less work is what I call it, meaning pay less work. So when you add in all the cost of driving Uber and all that, ain't no pay in it. You just liquidating the car. We already talked about that. Payless work like Uber when you account for cost and risk, written for you to be the place to hold the failure of American capitalism, an era built on a matrix of faux choices, so you accept it. Somebody replied, they said, Mr. Moore, your tweets often strike a jolting reality chord with me. They shine a light on things I observed but didn't really see. That was the point of the reparations project. Y'all fucked all that up. So you play house and you get house. You play with toys, you get toys. So the steps that happen next, I hope your kids can hold that bag because they might be uncasted outside the room. We all know Black Lives Matter and yay. Just the Drink Champs immediate, I guess, tweet does as well. Our conversation with our brother Kanye West is 3 hours. So please watch the full. So we're supposed to watch 3 hours of this man. But Maverick Carter, the shop CEO Maverick Carter, has apologized for believing that Kanye West was capable of a respectful discussion after he used his appearance to reiterate more hate speech. And he took his stuff down. Huh. But Diddy told us on the Breakfast Club that he don't support it, then put it on Revolt TV with Drink Champs. Ain't this the hustle? 310-388-3499 if you want to call in. Y'all told me that the interview was deep, but the man told us that he was from special ed and that he don't have no journalism degree in addition. The interview, Kanye. He said, this is a direct quote Yvette had pulled from the interview, his apology. I did not go to school for journalism. I was a special ed student. He's telling you that he doesn't have the expertise for this little high-level conversation. So, like, I guess if y'all get cancer, y'all just gonna go to him to get the answer, right? He get the answer for you. Nore addresses Ye Drink Champs backlash. I regret it. Okay. He regretted, but y'all don't after watching the interview. What you're seeing is people expose deep limitations from Nore for reasons Breaking Brown posted on Special Ed to the people commenting. This is a failure because Nore has now made himself the story. This is never supposed to happen. The journalist is now the story for apologizing. Question mark. Come on. Shout out to Q. I text back and forth with him after reading this. You know, they drag people in just to kind of undermine them. I hate that my name was dragged into this drunk champs. Now let's talk about that for a second. You don't give people drinks during the interview unless you're trying to confuse them. Now, if this is the model of the interview, if they open this up and give out drinks, that's not you don't give people drinks unless you're trying to get drunk answers. I hate that my name was dragged into this drunk champ's BS. I don't know what Ye meant by his statement. You're going to have to ask him. I didn't put the batteries in his back. Please leave my name out of all of this anti-Semitic talk. Kanye West continues on his media run. This time it was on Revolt's Drink Champs. This is reverse casting. You took this nonsense, elevated like he had said some genius, forgot that he went to Trump's office, undermining all of black politics, and had a White Lives Matter shirt on, opened up a school in the white area, Simi Valley, rewarding a Simi Valley that only decades back was at the center of the Rodney King. Can we connect it? Trump had enough conscious connections to make it into office, but he didn't have the Jewish media on his side because the Jewish media was already aligned with the left. And y'all believe because he Kanye, he got enough knowledge. He know because he Kanye. He don't know nothing. Kanye West declares Drake the greatest rapper. Let me just throw anything at this wall. Get this topic changed. George Floyd's family files $250 million lawsuit against Kanye West. He said about the knee. It looked like the knee is on this man's neck for quite some time. Now, I'm not no expert, but this man is. Dr. Andrew Baker, who performed the official autopsy of George Floyd, said that fentanyl and heart disease had contributed to his death, but that the officer's actions were the main cause. When are we going to realize that this man here don't know what he's talking about? For all y'all people that watch that and say, oh, he genius, while he wore a 2024 hat, he's not a genius. You're just reverse casted. So your genius is person that is actually ignorant at an insanely high level. You wouldn't know a genius if a genius walked up to you. There may be more people who have to answer for what Kanye West said about George Floyd. Candace Owens, Nore, and Diddy's Revolt TV could soon be in a legal hot seat. We were discussing anti-black racism in the largest city, or one of the largest cities in America, and followed crumbs from Kanye to Drink Champs, Nore, all to busy content our minds away from black politics. You went from LA City Council racism to a guy who said he was special ed and had no journalism degree. Are you reverse casted? Do you need busy content? You got the JP Morgan Chase thing, and then it comes out that it might all be fraudulent. The whole thing that Kanye said. Because he actually asked to leave JP Morgan Chase. But he a genius, though. There's a severe issue going on within this race. Within ADOS Black America. You guys need empowerment so much that you want to deny your own lineal realities. That you want to deny your own zeros in your bank account. That you want to deny your own negative morals. That you want to deny that you are reverse casting. This is Tone Talks. Please go to tonetalks.org to subscribe or donate. Share this video. I want to have this discussion because these people right here got y'all all confused. Thank you.